Welcome to Witchcraft Part 3. In the past, we've talked about sources of information, history, the psychological effects, stuff like that, along with what a witch is, what a warlock is, and most of all, what it means to you as the individual. So today, we're going to talk about something else, about witchcraft. In today's world, we have so many different variations of witches, from paganism to neo-paganism to Wicca and Wiccan practices. We got those who are compared to Christian witches, which is, in my opinion, a double jeopardy. It is basically a double negative, especially since Christians don't believe in witchcraft because they believe that it is against their God, no matter if he is a dead individual. But anyways, we have Gardnerian, Alexandrian, and the list goes on. You can actually find these in Christopher Penziak's book, The Temple of Shamanitic Witchcraft. Very well written, with a little definition between them. Each of them. I believe it's a 3, if not a 4-page thing. Now, when we view modern witchcraft compared to the witches and warlocks of past times, we view the differences. For an example, today, we have those who believe they are green witches, those who worship nature. You have gray witches. We have white witchcraft. We have black witchcraft, dark witchcraft, good witchcraft, evil witchcraft, yada, yada, yada. The list goes on. If you want to be a witch or a warlock, get rid of these modern-day views and go back to the beginning. When we go back to the beginning, the further back we go, the clearer the picture becomes. Now, when we look at this, we can also view the witches of the past. In past times, witches and warlocks, the very meaning of it was feared and respected. Shamans lived on the outskirts of their villages, much like the medicine men of Native American tribes. They were highly respected and feared. Witches and warlocks lived out on the outskirts of communities. How should I put this? The priests and priestesses of voodoo. Same exact thing. They always kept their privacy because they were feared and they were respected. In Africa, right now, voodoo and the aspect of light aspects are much like the modern day Christian. That's right, Christian. They're seen as the good guys, and they frown upon anything different. The Boko or the Bokor, which is considered a lesser being of magic. Those who sell their services to the populace to help them for some reward. We go into shamanism. Shamans were given blankets, skins of animals. They were given fish, meats, and everything else as gifts when their services were requested. Not everything was monetary, as in money. So you see, the further we go back, the clearer the definition becomes. What is a witch and what is a warlock? My advice, flat out, shun the light. The very image of the demon, the angel, of Mephistopheles. He is the master of witchcraft, or I should say the magician, rather. He's the master of magicians. And he's also known as the Lord of Pacts, the king of demonic pacts. But this is something most don't know about him. He's also known as he who has shunned the light. That's right, he shunned the light. Much like the mythology behind Vlad Tepes, aka Dracula. When we go into the Red Book of Appin, we see through his scribe how he chose to shun the light. He chose to live purely in the black arts, black magic. And this is what separates modern day practitioners from those of the past. The practitioners of the past had balls. They chose to defy nature. They chose to defy society. They chose to do their own thing. Today's practitioners, yeah, there's some that are solitary, but most belong to covens and are fed lies. Some of today's witches and warlocks today are a part of some some coven, order, or temple that practices witchcraft in some form of light versus dark. They are led to believe that warlocks are evil, that they are oath breakers and betrayers. This is a lie. As stated in part 1. And this is why they are seen as such. In modern day, warlocks are considered oath breakers and betrayers because it is more of a name. It's a title. It's like an insult. Because they choose, or I should say chose, as a practitioner, to study other forms. That's right, they chose to go to other traditions, other styles. Not to limit themselves to one style, form, or tradition, but to master them all. Therefore, they are dubbed warlock, or warga, in Anglo-Saxon, or European, or I should say Indo-European, Germanic roots. The Durak in Druidism is known as a dark oak, whereas a Druid priest or priestess is known as a white oak. Again, you're seeing this tradition of light versus dark. And yet, it's clear that the darkness holds far more superior power than the white. However, wisdom does come through hidden gnosis. The power of remedies, the power of spells, it comes down to the very belief structure. Those in the past, 1,000 years, 2,000 years back, all the way back to the Paleolithic era, and beyond. Their belief structure in demons and power and spells, ritual, ceremonies, as they're known today, they are shown as personal beliefs as individuals. They believe it so much that nothing compares to it. Same is said to the modern day Christian, which is why they dominate, even though they have no power. But that's a different story. However, my point is made that if you really want to learn witchcraft, like I said in part 1, go back into the history. Go back into the written languages. Cross-reference the times, the geography. Everything back to the oral traditions. Yes, the oral traditions are lost, those teachings, but they can be found through the conquering nations. And that is, my friends, my apprentices. That's witchcraft. To blend in, to do the impossible, to believe so much that with a single thought you can cast a curse, a hex, and put somebody to death. To believe so much that you can change the weather. To manipulate the energies. I've known people who can create fire just by thought. It's called pyromancy. I've seen people control water, the ripples, to interpret it. Myself is more electronically. I can walk down a street and a street light flickers and then goes off as I approach and then does the reverse as I walk away from it. I have a few friends who have witnessed this ability. And yes, I've been given a lot of gifts, talents that I've earned over the years. However, this alone comes down to you as the individual and what you're willing to do, what you're willing to put on the line. Again, believe. Belief system. What do you believe and how much do you believe? Are you willing to sacrifice your life? To spend your life alone? I am. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to become powerful. I enjoy it. But that's just the darkness running through me. It's my very nature. So believe what you want. This comes down to you. Until next time, I will get into the very ceremonies, the practices of the rituals, and what each mean. From the tools, to the purposes of them, to the methods. Have a good one. Until next time.